Welcome to your Wednesday update for Wednesday, June 3rd. We have several things to get to today, and so I'm just going to jump straight in by making a few announcements and reminders. Sadly, the first one that I have to talk about is that the leadership and myself have had to make the difficult decision that based on the current guidance we have from the government of Saskatchewan and our health authorities, we will not be able to return to in-person services for at least the month of June. And so even though they announced that churches were able to open up, we have thoroughly and carefully reviewed the guidance that they've given us, and many of the stipulations and regulations that they've given us are simply not going to be doable. We've thought through every scenario we can think of, and we just can't find any way to make those work for us at this time. So for the month of June, at least, we are going to be continuing with virtual church. I'm going to continue to ask that if you have a Bible study or a group or something happening at the church, that you contact either myself or someone in the leadership to run that by them, make sure that there's no conflicts, because we still have many rules that we have to be following as a church, and we need to make sure that we're all pulling in the same direction on that and working together to make sure that we are abiding by all those rules. And so even though we are opening up things a little bit as a society, as a church, we have to be very careful. So please call, check. We want to see your faces. We want things to be as normal as we possibly can make them while abiding by the rules. So call myself or somebody in leadership and run that by us. But like I say, unfortunately for the month of June, you're going to continue to see this face on Wednesdays and Sundays, or whenever it is that you tune into the midweek update and the sermons. To that end, I've heard from a few people that there are some people who have trouble accessing the virtual services that we send out every week because they're not able to in their homes, or because they're not good with technology or don't have technology. And so one of the ways that we're trying to make this a little more accessible is that I now have the capability to make very quick DVD copies of the sermons that are sent out on YouTube every week. If that is something that, if you know of someone who would like to receive a DVD copy of the sermons and whatnot, I would be very happy to make that up and send it to them, or take it to them, or you can come and pick it up. We'll arrange to get it to them. I know for many people, putting a DVD in a DVD player is a lot easier than navigating the internet. And for some people, that capability is just easier to do. So contact me, call the church, email the church office. That mailbox and the phone is still being monitored, and we can arrange to get you a DVD copy rather than having to navigate the internet. Something else I wanted to bring to your attention is that Kate, my wife, and myself, we really want to try and get to know everyone. Under normal circumstances, we would be inviting a lot of people over to our home to have coffee and chat. And right now, we of course have to limit that. We have to be very careful, particularly with my role. But we're at a place where we are comfortable instituting what I'm going to be calling BYOC, bring your own coffee. Kate and I would love to come and sit and have coffee with any of you. And we can do that in a physically responsible way. Whether that's we sit in our backyard and you bring your own coffee and we have our own coffee and we sit 2 meters apart and chat, or we meet in a parking lot and do the same, or we try and do that. We'll find a venue to do that, and we'll each bring our own coffee and we'll sit and have coffee and get to know one another. We would really, really like that. Judging people's comfort levels right now is difficult, though. And so rather than me reaching out one at a time to each of you, I'm going to ask you to please not be afraid to reach out to me, and we will set something up. We would love to spend some time chatting with each and every one of you as is appropriate. Well, the final thing that I want to bring to your attention is that it has been brought to my attention that these books behind me, this contest that I launched last week, has been causing a little bit of controversy. So if you missed it last week, I announced the start of a new contest, which is to name as many books here on my shelf as you can, which is why I'm leaning back and forth trying to give people a look onto as many as I can. Two things here. Number one, there is a very clear front runner at the moment, and I'm not going to name who it is, but when I tell you that this person started a spreadsheet to keep track of everything, you'll probably already be able to figure out who that is. But I forgot to mention one very important rule, and that is this. This is on the honor system, folks, because I know many of you actually have access to the church building with keys and can stick your head into my office door or through the window and can start taking notes. So I have no way of controlling that. I am simply going to make this on the honor system, that none of you are coming here in person to make a list of the book titles and authors. I could start quoting scriptures to you about lying and being honest, but I won't. And I'm just going to say that your pastor is asking you to be honest about this challenge. We're going to run this challenge for probably another 2 weeks or so. So if you haven't already, begin a list. Try and get as many books and authors on my shelf as you can. And next week I'm going to be announcing what the prize will be for the winner of that contest. Well, as always, I like to keep these short so I don't take up too much of your time. But may the Lord bless you and be with you this week, and may you feel His comfort and His hand upon you. God bless you all.